Good evening, everyone, and welcome to In the Know with Kat Bobino. Today, my extra special guest is going to be Tiffany Anderson, and Tiffany Anderson is one of those natural hair gurus, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay, that's right. Speak your worth. Okay. And so we're gonna get right into it because y'all see I always like to wear my wigs, but under this, there's some natural hair that needs some help. So we want to learn what the science is when it comes to dealing with your natural hair. So Tiffany, can you introduce yourself and let us know what you do, what you're from, what you got?
So my name is Tiffany Anderson, and I am considered a hair expert. I'm also an author of several books, Hair Therapy, which teaches us how to grow our hair and the cures to grow our naturally hair. And I also have two children's books that I help to and build awareness in our kids on how to take care of our kids' hair.
Oh, wow. So what made you want to do children's books?
I wanted to do children's books because I wanted to really instill the importance of maintaining and taking care of your hair to as an adult. So I decided to, in order to reach adults, you have to reach them as a children. If you want adults to take care of their hair if you want your children to take care of your hair as adults, you have to reach them as a child. So.
Okay, so I completely understand that. That's one of the things that I always say about STEM. So if you want adults to really get into science, tech, engineering, math, you got to start when they're young.
Yes.
Teach them when they're young, let them know what's going on, get them a hands-on training.
Yes.
So I completely understand that. So what made you get into natural hair?
So I have always been intrigued with natural hair as a child because growing up, I was the only one in my family with my hair texture, which was a tighter curl pattern. Like my sister, my immediate women in my family, my mom, my auntie, they had more smooth cuticle, wavy hair.
Okay.
And so mine was a tighter curl. So I used to get in my family a lot of negative responses in regards to hair textures. So, back in the day, we viewed hair as beauty. So if your hair was not a certain texture, you were not considered beautiful, and you were not, you didn't even hear that word.
Right.
Almost like complexion, skin tones, and things like that. So when I literally, as I got older, I had became very interested in it, from playing with it and my dolls and stuff like that. And I remember my auntie, I had an auntie in Vallejo, my auntie Karen, she used to let me always play in her hair. She would let me braid it. That's one of the first time I learned how to braid it. I probably was 8, and I was like so excited. And so from there, I guess you want to say became infatuated with it. And I wanted to learn how to do all types of things with hair. Outside of chemicals. I literally was interested in natural hair care, like because that's what my hair was. I wanted to know how to do it.
Oh, that's cool. So yes, I don't even know what my curl pattern is. I stay away from my hair as much as possible, but I completely understand. I wish I had someone whose hair I can play in. So shout out to Aunt Karen. I'm still trying to learn and play in my own hair,
right.
But that's amazing that you took it upon yourself, even at 8, to start to learn about your hair, deal with your hair, and do natural things, or learn how to do things with your natural hair. And so I want to say this is a podcast, but we are definitely live on Facebook every time we do this podcast. So I'm going to shout out Michael and Steve. Thank you for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to just send them in. You're on the mic with In the Know with Kat Bobino and our guest, Tiffany Anderson. So Tiffany, why don't you tell us more about once you started doing your natural hair, as you got older, what did you learn about your curl pattern, and what did you learn about doing natural hair?
So when I began to work in the salon, I noticed a lot of I came in as a braider. So when I was a braider, I wanted to just learn how to do all the braid techniques. But what I was learning, like in the early 2000s, is like the products that were being made for natural hair were not catering to natural. Well, the products that were using for natural hair were the relaxed products.
Right.
And so they were not working. They were like a lot of water-based products and things like that. So I noticed the products that were working for natural hair were cream-based products.
Okay.
Evaluate just an assessment. So knowing that and just learning the chemistry of hair. So knowing how like curl patterns need the kind of product to penetrate in the hair cuticle.
Mm-hmm.
So cream-based products penetrate into our curl pattern, which help us our curl pattern to curly hair to retain its moisture. And
Okay.
then a lot of when you have straight hair, when you alter the hair texture, you want a lot of water-based products. You don't want heavy things. So the water-based, you want it to kind of go on top of the hair. You don't want it to penetrate the hair cuticle, if that makes sense to you. So cream-based products at that time, like I used a lot of PCA. Though that product by Dudley's, PCA by Dudley's, that product was like one of my number one
go-to
manage curly hair manager for curly hair. And so as I gotten more experience with it, with hair and understanding, you know, the chemistry, the breakdown, and why certain products worked and why certain products didn't, it became like we were getting a lot of women that were losing their hair. And I remember we had one lady, she would get a weave, and we would have to do it in a private room. And she was very emotional because I feel like hair is a steam builder. So she was very distraught. She didn't want anyone to see her, you know, her hair and her scalp condition. So I began to get intrigued and wanted to know more about how to prevent those conditions opposed to how to cover them.
Right.
If that makes sense. So I ventured out on my own, and I got into trichology. So trichology is the study of hair and scalp disorders. So I became a certified trichologist, which studies hair and scalp disorders. And that took me to the next level far as learning how to cater to some of these conditions and to reverse the side effects and to prevent them.
Wow, that is amazing. So, I mean, I'm trying to digest everything that you just said, but you know, using a cream base if you have a thicker curl, and using a water base if you have a straighter hair, especially. So is that so? If you're getting a perm, then you definitely want to stay with the water base because your hair's straighter, or do you want to go with the cream?
So that's the trick about it, okay? Because when doing hair and anything with the body or anything, you know, surface, you have to give it what it needs.
Right.
So even if it's relaxed, like if you're doing something over and over, you know, it can become dry. So if you, that's where like the deep conditionings come in. So like if you sometimes, you know, when you relax hair, so that's like a moisture, you're trying to put the moisture back in the hair because it's been depleted far as what you've been doing to it. So that's where it's like, okay, what do I need? You have to so knowing the hair, feeling it, and listening to it. So one of the things that I like to share is how our hair talks to us, because it can't talk to us physically, literally, but it does give us signs. So one of the signs that our hair gives us is itching. So a lot of times we ignore itching. We ignore itching to where we make jokes about it. We make memes about it. We, you know, we pat like that is a normal thing. And so itching is not normal, especially period anywhere. So it's the first sign, kind of how our hair talks to us. So excessive itching is extreme. It's like hey, you did something wrong. It could be a product. It could be it's too tight. It could be like you used a wrong. You could be having an allergic reaction. And a lot of times we ignore the itching is because we disassociate scalp from skin. And scalp is skin.
Right. Okay.
And so for some reason, when it comes to our hair, we don't associate scalp with skin. So
yes. So that is a very true statement. So a lot of people don't realize that when you have your scalp is a part of you. Right. You know, and so if your arm is itching, if your leg is itching, if your back is itching, something's wrong. You know, you think, did I get bit? Did I get a rash or something? So that makes sense that if the scalp is itching, something is going wrong.
Yes.
So what do we do? What do we do with it?
So the first thing you want to do is to recognize it and to not ignore it. Like I said, my hair never itches, and if it does, I'll be like, oh goodness, I will notice it because it never does. It's not supposed to.
Right.
That's kind of like your healthy hair sign.
Okay.
Okay. So like if it starts itching, I will see what I have done.
Okay.
Almost like a pain. If you get like a sharp pain or something, you're like, oh my God, did I pull a muscle? Did I what did I do? Did I eat something bad? So that's what itching is when it comes to the hair. It's like, did I put something in it? What shampoo did I use? Is it dry? Is it you want to assess what is lacking.
Okay.
You really want to take into consideration, because like I said, if you ignore the itching, it will start shedding. If you ignore the shedding, it will start thinning. If you ignore the thinning, it will start to come out.
Right.
And then if you ignore the coming out,
it's just too late. Yeah. It's kind of too late at this point.
Yes. So we definitely should take into consideration and recognize that
right.
That's an important, that's your hair talking to you. It's like, hey cat.
So again, this is a podcast, but we are doing Facebook Live at the same time as our podcast. And so one of our watchers/listeners has a question. So I would thank you, Alon, for joining us. Her question is, we're going to go back to curl pattern.
Okay.
What if you have multiple curl patterns in your hair? So i.e. you have a thicker curl in the middle, but a looser curl in the front. Should you use a cream or a more watery based product?
Okay. So this is very, very important. This is why I don't believe in types.
Okay.
So I don't believe in hair types. I believe in patterns. Like I believe in curly hair pattern and straight curl pattern, just to be basic. Okay. And it's because a product that is going to work on curly hair, it should work on all curly hair textures. The only thing that should change is the amount that you use. Because the density, like for me, my hair is very fine. So because I have fine hair, I probably would not need as much as someone with thicker hair. Yes.
Okay.
And so you have to literally feel your hair and know your hair pattern, not the type, the pattern. So if you have curly hair, you definitely should if it's a true curl, like for moisture, definitely for moisture. So if you're trying to put moisture back in your hair and it's lacking moisture, you should be able to use a moisturizer that's going to cater to your your whole curl pattern.
Okay.
And so what and with products having different textures or different curl patterns in the hair, I say I like to recommend sectioning curl pattern.
Right.
So when you section your hair, then you can like I said, so if you have like the looser wave in certain areas and stuff, then that's how you apply the product, if that makes sense, instead of just applying a whole bunch at one time. Yes.
Okay. So like for example, if she has thicker curls in the middle, so she want to put more cream base in that middle part.
Right. And still filling it and stuff.
Right.
Because moisture is the way you detect moisture too, like I always use this example. You notice when you put oil on your skin can be very dry, and you put oil, it goes on top of the skin, like it makes it shiny.
Got it.
So when you put moisture in it, it penetrates. You could see the moisture, like that skin raise a little bit. The hydration come back in it, if that makes sense. Because a lot of people mistake oil for moisture as well, and oil is not moisture.
Okay.
And I'm explaining to you how come. So is an example with science.
Okay.
You know how oil,
bring it. Let's see.
How oil and water. So
right. That's
the
not
molecules.
mixed.
It's not, oil would be okay, but the molecules in it are too big to penetrate into the hair cuticle, hair shaft.
Okay.
So exactly how oil sits on top of water,
right? That's
how it sits on top of your curl pattern. So like that's why the greases is not penetrate, but your mineral oils, your looser oils, your olive oils and stuff, those are more smoother oil. Those will penetrate more than like a heavier oil, like a shea butter or because you need something to like break it down, if that makes sense to you.
Okay, so we have all of these products that's on the shelf.
Yes.
Like the shea butters and stuff like that.
Yes,
but that's more so going to sit on your hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But something that we can see at a grocery store, like
Right.
olive oil,
Yes,
is a little bit more smoother.
So let me explain those.
Break it down for the audience.
So I label products as grades. Okay, you have your grade A to your grade D products in my book. Okay.
Okay.
So your grade A products to me are your professional products. Grade A products are literally designed to do what they're supposed to do. Do you get so when something's supposed to do what it's supposed to do, it has more of the ingredients that you need. It's not diluted.
Right.
Okay. So that's your grade A. Those are like your professional products, normally that are formulated for your hair and whatever. So your grade B products are your natural products. So they're not formulated for the hair, but they're not going to harm the hair, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So like when I say olive oil, so just using olive oil is not going to harm the hair.
Okay.
Okay. But then if you make an olive oil with some mineral oils and like you're formulated to get, and then you add some vitamin E, some vitamins and things in it, then that's going to stimulate, promote the growth. So then that kind of makes it a grade A product.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but it by itself is just not because it's not going to completely give you the results that you want. You're going to be like, it's just oily now. It gave me shine, but I want moisture. Okay. So if that makes sense to you.
Okay.
And then you have your grade C products. So your grade C products is your
like Sally Beauties,
your box. Yes, Sally. Sally's definitely is. Yes. So those products, they're not diluted all the way, but they're diluted to where they may work one time.
Okay.
Okay. And then your grade D products are your box store products. Those products are literally just to be sold.
Gotcha.
They're just making money out of it. And that's why it is.
Those are the beauty supplies on the corner of Oakland.
No, it's not that. Those are your Target, your Walmart.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes.
They're only to make money. That's why a lot of times they're able to share. They're able to use models with weaves.
Gotcha. On the picture.
Even on the picture. Right. I remember one time Nicole Murphy, she had got a gig. Her daughter, Nicole Murphy's daughter, had got a job and on the relaxer, Dark and Lovely relaxer. Okay. And it was so funny because her hair is curly, but they let her put a wig to take the picture to promote,
wow,
the product. So that's where you'll get your deceptions. And it's sad because you've spent over so much money.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. And they're allowed to do that. And I don't get it. But
I completely understand. So what you're saying is there is some basic chemistry to what we want to put in our hair.
Yes, it is.
And because of that chemistry, we don't want the large molecules because the large molecules are not going to penetrate.
Yes.
And so, but we're talking about vitamin E and we're talking about olive oil and things like that.
Yes.
What cream should we be using for our tighter curler pattern?
So I recommend, I have formulated a product and I also recommend 2 others. I definitely recommend Dudley's PCA.
Okay.
That is like one of my biggest product requests. Okay. That one. And then I also recommend a product by Deca. It's called Scalp Therapy.
Okay.
That's a very good product as well. It also exfoliates. And the product that I have is a moisturized butter. It has lanolin and it has shea butter in it.
Okay.
And it literally, especially for gray hair, lighter hair. Okay. So the lighter the hair, some people don't realize it's more porous, meaning it's drier.
Right.
Okay. So you're like, this number 4 or this number 6, it's just like nothing I do. I put this on and it just like sucks it up.
Right.
And that's almost because the pigment is out. So like I'm with gray hair. So gray hair, when people be like, this gray hair is like just so not, that's kind of like how blonde hair is.
Right.
Like the lighter the color, because that pigment is out. So it can be more almost it doesn't have like the melanin or the
Right.
so it's drier. So you want something that's going to seal that in.
Right.
So I had formulated a product. It has 4 ingredients that seals that moisture in.
Okay. Even for the grays?
Even for the gray.
Okay.
Yes.
So again, you're listening to In the Know with Kat Bobino. We are also doing Facebook Live at the same time. So I want to say thank you to everyone who's joined. I see Otis, Charlita, Uche, and Nicole, and James. And we have a question from James, which is, do you have information on hair loss?
Yes, I do. So, because I'm a trichologist, that's what I do.
Okay.
I also share in my book, Hair Therapy. I also share before and after photos.
Okay.
Of studies that I have done that brought the hair back.
Okay.
And yes, I do.
Okay.
Definitely.
So, all right. So I know this is a question. I even got this question before at work because I was talking about what I was going to do the podcast. And so one of the big things is male pattern baldness.
Okay. Yes.
Can you reverse or kind of bring back some hair with male pattern baldness?
So you can, depending on how damaged the skin is. Okay. So one of the things, like scalp is skin, I shared that.
Right.
And scalp needs exfoliation like skin does, like
right.
face and all that kind of stuff. One of the things is like if we've damaged that that layer, that surface layer, it can burn. So like if you have a burn, like a burn from an iron or something,
right?
So skin grows. You have a lot of layers of skin that grows over because it protects the scalp,
right?
Or it protects the skin. So in your scalp, it is hair that sits under there dormant sometimes, and it's under there. But I have I have to see it. I have a computer with a scanner, with a hair scanner that looks underneath your scalp. So yes, that's part of the one of the treatments that I do to see if it is hair under there and if it can be revised or.
Well, I did not even, as someone who definitely considers herself a science and tech nerd, I didn't even know that there was a machine that you can use on hair.
Yeah, that you can,
or
that
on
you
the
can
scalp.
see, and that you can see under the scalp, and
okay.
Certain things like to trigger to spark the
regrowth,
and like I said, a lot of it you have to come in for a consultation,
right,
in order to share, and I'm very honest.
So if it
and
can't
I
be
like
fixed,
challenges too, so some people do think it's so severe because they haven't seen it grow, and it's all about consistency.
Okay.
It's all about daily regimen. So anytime, most people, when they want something back to what it was, I say, well, you got to put it back the way it was.
Okay. Right. So does diet have something to do with hair? Does that?
So diet has something in regards with the way that it grows, if that makes sense. So like if you want healthy skin and stuff like that, you're going to drink more water.
Right.
If you want healthy hair to grow out of your hair, of course, you're going to take vitamins and stuff like that.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily stimulate growth, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It doesn't, like it can, like if you're just eating right and your hair is not going to grow, that's not going to just be like, oh, I was eating right, my hair should be growing.
Right.
Because if
I'm eating my fruits and vegetables, so I need my hair's growing.
Right. If you do, because and a lot of times, even with eating right, see, the body takes what it needs first. Right. And it goes to the hair last. So it's like the importance. So unfortunately, for our body, with it trying to work and stay alive, that's more important.
Right. So pumping the heart, right, and the brain, having some.
Right. That's more important than hair.
Right. I completely. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. So being in the hair business, in the natural hair business, how did you get into the science behind it?
The science with anything. So if you're around something, for like, the people who think outside of the box are the people who change
Correct.
things.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So me, I'm an outside of the box thinker.
Okay.
Okay. Even with the products and knowing how the products work, even taking trichology, all that kind of stuff, you want to pay attention to certain levels and certain things that work or symptoms and problems and stuff.
Right.
So I am a problem solver and not a symptom solver, if that makes sense. So in order to solve the problem, you have to know the root of the problem.
Right.
So the root of the problem in alopecia, hair loss, what I have noticed and what I've been trained on is pH levels.
Okay.
So a lot of times we medicine, foods, not eating right, those throw off your pH levels.
Right.
So I'm not sure. I don't want to.
Don't quote her on this.
Yeah, I don't want to go. I'm not sure why the medical professions, I have my opinions of why they don't share it, but I'm not sure why they don't tell you that can throw off, Right. And even if they do, so even if they do share it, that is one aspect. But then you have to find someone that knows how to solve the problem. Right. Well, how do I get the pH level back into my hair? How do I get it back to normal, to where my hair is going to grow? Right. So that will prevent your pH level, will prevent your hair from growing as well, if that makes sense. Okay. The pH level being off. Right. Because even with a relaxer, it takes 48 hours for your pH level to go back to normal when your hair is relaxed. Okay. So that's after the neutralizing shampoo and stuff like that. And stories that I've heard, you don't know if people are using neutralizing shampoo. You don't know if people are using conditioners and stuff. Right. Hair industry has become a fast industry. And so people have gotten to the habit of neglecting stuff. And so when it comes to the time where we want to wear our hair, we don't have it.
Yes. So, I mean, for prime example, we have seen some pictures, video of models. Yes. Very famous models. I don't want to call them out because they're beautiful. Yes, I don't want them to hate me. Right. But we see that as time progressed, all the weaves that they've done, all the perms that they've done, that all of a sudden, as we all say it now, they don't have any edges. Right. Right. Those edges have been snatched. Right. Right. And so one of the questions I had gotten previously before coming on air is, can that be reversed when you started to lose some of your edges from weaves and perms? Yes, it can. It can be hair under there. Okay. Like, you don't know if you're not using, something that's going to bring the hair back. Right. You know what I mean? It's almost like, and most people, a lot of people that I have come in contact with, when you tell them, like, even when you're sharing that it can be reversed, they're like, oh no, my mom's hair is like that. And it's probably because you take care of your hair like your mom. Right. Right. So if your mom doesn't have any hair, or even with diseases and stuff, you can say, oh yeah, diabetes run in my family. But we all know if you change your lifestyle, the way you eat, what you put in and stuff, you can prevent it, stop it, reverse it, all of that kind of stuff. So I hope certain people are taking into account diet, things that we eat, and changing some of that in our own home. Yes. But yes, so this is very important. Right. Stimulation, all of those things. Making the change. Because that's what our parents did. Right. And our grandparents did, does not mean that's what we should be doing. So I'm going to throw in one for our male viewers. So most males wash their hair every day, since they could wash their hair every day. Okay. So if we're women, if we washed with probably the cheapest product. Okay. Or even a bar of soap. Every day. Okay. Right. So think about how long. So we'll say from grade school up into the early 20s. So in the early 20s, that's when you're noticing your hair is thinning because of what you've done for all those years. Okay, so almost like soap. They say don't use soap because it clogs the pores, certain stuff like that. So you've done that with soap. And so by the time you're in your early 20s, you're going to start losing, because that is horrible.
But like with my children, because they're raised in a hairstylist,
Yeah.
environment, even my son, I'm with this book.
Okay. Yeah, show it, girl. Show it.
The book for the boys.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The book for the girls. With taking care of, you're supposed to use shampoo and conditioner as well.
Right.
Hair is hair. It doesn't matter how short. Scalp is scalp. It doesn't matter if you're going to cut it every day. That's how you still have to take care of it. So unfortunately, what happens is like that whole daily regimen that you have incorporated for like 10 years
or more.
Right. And so it's funny because some of my clients, when they get married or stuff, they'll be using and their wife is going to the beauty, they'll use their wife's stuff, which is good.
Okay.
Because your wife is not going to use the bad stuff. And so that's what you have to take into consideration.
Even if their hair is like an inch, they still need to be shampooing and conditioning. Because
let's say you want it to grow, like even us.
Right.
We could have an inch. We're still going to go to the salon to get it colored or to get it, maintenance. We're still going to take care of it. It doesn't matter. And if we have color and it's short, we know we have to really use conditioner.
Well, because you basically just colored your scalp.
Right.
You colored your scalp.
Right. So men sometimes, and I tell people, even with natural hair, it's low maintenance, but it's not no maintenance.
Yes.
Okay? And so a lot of times we get comfortable when our hair is natural. For some reason, we just don't want to do anything.
So I have to pause right here because again, this is a podcast. This is In the Know with Cat Bobino, special guest Tiffany Anderson, but we are Facebook Live. And Steve just said he just threw out his box of Soul Glow shampoo.
Okay.
Listen to you talking. He was like, done. We're done.
Okay. And how old is it?
Ooh. Yeah, Steve, that's the question is how long have you even had that shampoo?
Right. That's scary.
You're right. We're not talking about you, Steve.
Right.
We're not going to.
We're trying to help.
This is coming from a place of love.
Right.
But I'm not going to lie though. I have to revamp what I'm doing, and probably Steve said we got jokes, but my mate and I probably have to gonna make an appointment.
Yes.
And then you know what? Y'all let me know. I'm gonna tell you about my hair. Like if you know my partner, he's basically bald.
Right.
So I tell him to go just straight bald, but he don't want to listen to me. Me, on the other hand, my hair breaks off. Now I have a problem.
Okay.
I pull it. I like rub my fingers through my hair all the time, and I'm always looking at the split ends. But when I do that, it just breaks off. So the whole front right here is short because of breakage.
Okay.
And it's probably, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Sally's Beauty, what's on sale shampoo and conditioner. So
that that's most of the people. And my clients, they used to say, Tiffany, do the YouTube. I was so against YouTube. I hate YouTube. I'm not even going to front.
Okay. I understand.
I hate that it has evolved because it's like an extra job. Okay. I already do hair. Now I have to do another job it's just the inconvenience of it. I don't hate it because I love what it does. It helps people when you don't know. And so you're searching for, what to do. So then if you don't have anyone on there that can tell you the real, they're going to do all the other bad stuff that they're being shown.
Right.
And so my clients, they're like, Tiffany, no, do a YouTube because we don't know. And so that was one of the reasons why I wrote hair therapy, because I wanted to reach more people. I literally wanted to reach more people. I wanted it to be layman so that you understand, like literally a hairstylist talking to a client. I didn't want it to be so chemistry based because I didn't think the everyday person would understand it.
Right.
And so that's kind of the way, the context and how I wrote it, so that everyone could understand, anybody.
So where can we buy these books?
Okay, you can buy this book at Wahida Clark Publishing.
Okay.
Wahida Clark Presents is my publisher. She's a New York Times bestseller, and she is awesome. You also can buy it at Amazon or Barnes and Nobles.
Okay.
As well.
So just Google the name of the book, which is Hair Therapy.
Yes, if you put in Tiffany Anderson Hair Therapy, it's going to pop up. And then
okay. And what about your children's books? Same thing?
Well, the children's books is Barnes and Nobles and Amazon.
Okay.
And these are self-published.
Okay.
So these are self-published books. But this one, if you want your hair, this is for the kids to get them in the right direction, because they're literally, we're taught about hygiene, but we're not taught about our hair, you know.
Right.
And it's so interesting because we're judged on our hair,
right.
just like we're judged with our teeth. You know, we're not taught to, you know, shampoo and conditioning. I'm like, when I go to the schools and I share, I say, well, you know, isn't your hair, you know, something that, you know, like your teeth is a hygiene. We just leave that out and stuff. So we're taught about skin, but for some reason we don't put it on, you know. And then also with the boys children's book, I wanted to really grasp the different ways we wear our hair. And it's like, it's okay to like other texture hairs too. So I wanted to build that up in boys too, because sometimes we can get caught up in textures or looks and commercial beauty and stuff like that. So we wanted to build and it does, because it becomes a pressure on your mate or who you're with.
Right.
You know, we talk about, we want to be ourselves, we want to, you know. I don't want to be her.
Right.
I want to be me.
I want to be myself.
I want to be myself.
So I gotta say that we have one person on Facebook Live. Her name is Melissa. She said hi from Australia.
Okay, hi Melissa.
Yeah.
How you doing?
And she said my microphone looked like a beard, so I had to move it to the side. That's why I did that.
So
you can see my whole face. Thank you, Melissa, for letting me know that when you're on Facebook Live, you're probably looking at me like, why is her hair going into a beard?
Right.
I don't have a beard.
Right.
So I'm gonna just move this to the side. Okay. But back to Tiffany, you know, I'm so proud of you and everything you've done. And I'm so happy to have met you and to be able to talk about hair. We don't talk about hair like that, except for how bad it looks.
Right.
Or how good it looks. Right. You know, we have a problem, I would say, or a disposition of either being 100% on board with you and what you're doing and your look, or being the opposite, negative, and wanting to clown you and make fun of you.
Right.
And so, but we need to talk about this.
Right.
We need to understand our scalp is skin. You know, that's a beautiful way of saying it. And to understand that this is maintenance. Just like we exfoliate ourselves, we get the sugar scrubs, we get all this stuff. You know, we need to do that for our hair and our scalp as well. So that's amazing.
And to not ignore it.
Right.
To not ignore itching, to not ignore those signs, to not ignore, because like I said, you could prevent a lot.
Right.
You could prevent like a bunch of stuff. Because even with the itching, I tell people it could be an allergic reaction, even like with the skin or anything. You could be allergic to something in the product. You could be allergic to the color. And I remember clients before I was at this level, when I first started, I remember I was using a color on a client and they would bring the color in all the time and I would use it like a box color. And as I got more involved with the hair and stuff, I was like, they probably was allergic to it because they ended up having male pattern baldness, but it could have been prevented because even like the products that we use, you see what it can cause and things like that. And in women, definitely products, their pH level can be thrown off, you know, and you want to keep that normal. And there's pH strips, there's a whole bunch of stuff like in your body. It will create, if your pH level is off in your body, you get bacteria, vaginosis, all that kind of stuff. And you want to, you know, you get odors, you get and a lot of people are having scalp conditions. They're having psoriasis. They're having what is that? Female and male pattern baldness, excessive dandruff. All of those things can be prevented. But it's interesting, if you ask them what they're using, they'll tell you, you know, all I do is use Head and Shoulders.
Right.
Well, maybe Head and Shoulders is the problem.
Right.
Well, I've been using Head and Shoulders since I was a kid. Maybe.
We've also been putting a lot of salt in our food since we were kids.
Right,
and we know
that's
not good.
Right. Exactly. So it's just to change the narrative. We have to change the way we think about, you know, our hair.
Right. Okay. So again, you're listening to In the Know with Kat Bobino. Our extra special guest is natural hair stylist and guru Tiffany Anderson. We are also doing Facebook Live. And so we have 2 more questions that have come in since we've been talking. First question is, are relaxers safer yet? So we want to, if you don't know, all you got to do is look at Malcolm X, the movie, and you see what happened when he had put the relaxer on. He had to run to the toilet because it was burning his scalp, right? You know, because the water wasn't running. He had to go and get that water from the toilet. So are relaxers safer than they used to be?
So let me explain to you why relaxers are not safe at all. Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So they're not supposed to touch the scalp. Okay, so even in my book, I like to share why. Because if you're told just not to do something, you know, we told as kids, they told us not to do it. They didn't say you could die. Okay,
right.
So like if you had like a reason for not doing it, but if I want to do this, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
You ain't gave me a good enough reason why not to do it.
Right.
So the reason, it's even like with shampoo and anything, the reason you condition is to bring your pH level, put back what you took out, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Get that cuticle shut back down. So with relaxers, that's why you're basing it, because it's not supposed to touch the scalp. The cocktail club, whatever, I can't even pronounce it. You know, what Chris Rock had in his, that it's not supposed to touch the scalp. So it's no way it can go on the scalp without touching it. And so that right there, if it's not supposed to touch the scalp, and if it's not supposed to, it's no way that relaxer can go on the hair without touching the scalp, even with the basing cream. Like we could camouflage it all we want. It's not, if it's not supposed to touch the scalp. So in my head, that tells me I'm not supposed to use it and it's not safe.
Makes sense.
And even relaxers, knowing, you know, our culture do abuse some of the hair products because we have been made to dislike our hair. You know, so we kind of catapulted to the, so even relaxers are called relaxers because it's only supposed to relax the hair. It's not even supposed to straighten.
Okay, well, a little history moment there.
That's why it's to relax, not. And so just understand, like I said, the why, understanding certain things of why not to do it, the reason why. So that's why not even trying to hate or, you know, talk about people with relaxers. It's not supposed to go on the scalp. So if it's not supposed to, like what's not supposed to go in our body, you know, you have to decide. So that's why I just shut it down. And I used to get a lot of trouble, cussed out, because people feel like if they're paying you, you're supposed to do it. And so I'm like, well, just go to somebody that does it. Okay.
I mean, that makes sense.
Too, close people,
right.
I don't do it. It's not against the law. And that's even what cosmetology is. Cosmetology is the use of chemicals.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, you think about it, it's hair and skin, and it's the chemicals they put on your hair and skin. So, okay, that makes sense.
Cosmetology is.
Okay. All right. I mean, I don't understand, because like I got, to be honest, you know, I got a relaxer back in November, I think it was.
Right.
And that was the last time I had a relaxer. And so I got plenty of new growth. And I've been talking about it. But again, I have these little sparse hairs flying everywhere. So I'm like, well, maybe I won't
what do I need to
do that. So, but I will propose this to you. Okay. You know, if you did want to do like a YouTube video, you can do it with me.
I'm for it. I'm here for it.
The start and the finish.
I love doing videos and sharing.
I'm not opposed. I'm not about to take this off now, but I'm not opposed to showing the world what's under here. You know. So I'm with it. We can talk about it after we finish the podcast, but I'm with it.
I got it.
So another question that we got are hot combs out of style?
Hot combs are not hot combs are not out of style, depending on the look that you like. So because hair has evolved, you know how we used to hot comb with the grease and stuff like that, and with the grease it burns the hair. So we've adopted flat ironing. So that kind of covers two things in one stroke. If that makes sense. It takes care of the front and the back. So it depends. It depends on how short you wear your hair. It depends on you know, your preference. It's a preference.
But is it bad for you then?
I don't like to say stuff is bad. I
Okay.
just, depending on what you want, I will always say, put it back the way it is. You got
Right.
to put it back the way you want. So if you've been hot combing your hair and it's not giving you what you want, like if you want it how it used to be.
Yeah. It's okay. We can still hear you.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you want it how, when you was a child, the thickness, the fullness, a whole bunch of stuff comes into, you know, helping it get there. Like
Right.
your shampoos, your conditioners, how often are you hot combing it and stuff like that?
Okay. So, you want to be natural,
Yes.
but you like the straight look.
Yes.
So hot combing it once a week, 'cause
Definitely not once a week.
okay.
So even when I do flat irons and things like that, I'm a very good flat earner. They last a month.
Oh,
But even sometimes with it lasting that long, it does alter the texture. So when you want to go back, you have straight ends.
right.
And so that's like considered damaged ends.
Okay. Okay. Because I was
Yeah.
about to say, like they say training your hair
No,
is
that's just the
damaging.
excessive heat. That the
Gotcha.
training is how much heat you're using on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, Steve says Tiffany is the truth. Okay. So, we gotta put that out there.
Okay.
She is, you guys need to be looking for her.
Okay.
So what is some ways that people can find you?
So I'm on Instagram. I'm getting better with my social media. You guys can help me.
Okay.
If you start following me, that'll motivate me. I am Tiffany Anderson. I also have Styles by Miss Tiffany on Instagram, and I also have Tiffany's Natural. I have a YouTube. My YouTube is not, I'm just.
It's all right. I'm the same way. I'm still.
That's not my era. I'm trying to get into it. But definitely if you YouTube or Google me. If you Google, I think it's under Tiffany. What did you say? It's like Tiffany Anderson hair. Yeah. If you Google Tiffany Anderson hair, I pop in the top ones.
Okay.
So
okay. And then so if anyone wants to get in touch with you, like to get their hair done or to get schedule an appointment to get you to look at it and to check it out.
Consultation, yes.
Consultation, right. Can they do that online or
Facebook, Instagram?
Okay.
You Facebook me, I'll DM my number, my appointment,
okay.
website. I do have a website, tiffanysnatural.com. It's tiffanysnatural.com as well.
Okay.
It's in the what is it, under construction, but it should be done by the end of this month.
No, not a problem.
I want to make sure everything is in there for you guys, like the videos, the events. I do pop-ups. I share my books, and I want to cater to your needs.
Okay.
And questions. So I really want to make sure everything that you guys need is being talked about on my website.
Okay. So you guys, if you have any questions for Tiffany, now is the time because we are running out of time. We've had some wonderful, great questions tonight. But before we go, one of the things I always like to ask people is, what do you do for fun when you're not doing this work?
Oh, my goodness. Fun. What do I do for fun? I have 3 young kids, so I'm trying to see, what do I do for fun? They're fun. No. They are no. Hobbies. When you're younger, you used to have a lot of hobbies. When you get older, it's
harder.
It's much harder. I still enjoy going to the movies. I still probably enjoy having more leisure time than I do.
Right.
But definitely I enjoy the quality time with my kids.
So you guys can't see it because we're sitting down, but I didn't know Tiffany had 3 young kids, and you wouldn't know looking at her. So I'm jealous because she's in better shape than me, and I don't have any kids. No. So that's a shame.
No.
That's a problem, but that's a personal problem that has nothing to do with hair and natural hair. But again, so you're listening to In the Know with Kat Bobino. Our special guest is Tiffany Anderson. She's been talking about natural hair tonight. She has 3 books so far?
Yes.
Okay, so hair therapy, that's for us. That's for the adults. She also has 2 children's books, one for girls, one for boys. But what we really want people to realize is you have your skin is your scalp is your skin, right?
Yes.
And so you have to take care of it like you take care of your hair. I mean, your skin.
Yes.
So if you're going out and buying moisturizer and skin creams and, that poofy eye stuff and all the things that we, especially ladies, like to do to make sure that our skin is looking beautiful and tight, you have to do that for your hair.
Yes. And one of the things, too, I didn't share, what I've learned in doing hair is when it was very important to me to help women take care of their hair, under their wigs, anything, because when you get older, you don't want to wear it. And for me, it wasn't even older. Like, I was a weave person. I was a single, and I didn't realize, like, in my late 20s, I was not going to wear that anymore. But you do want it to be there. And so
right,
you want it to, you want to be like, oh my gosh, I can't even wear my hair. You do want to have a choice and an advantage. So you want to recognize that. And in our men too, you never think like, oh my gosh, you're not going to have hair. And it's a self-esteem on both levels, with both genders. Men don't like it. You'll see them like, and they joke with it, but it's really, they're sensitive about it, right? As well as women. So
of course. I mean, I don't even want to know how much money has been spent on male pattern baldness research.
Right.
It's a lot. A lot of things that people don't realize is we live in a very male dominated nation.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the research money goes to making sure men feel comfortable in their own skin.
Right.
So, I mean, so I'm just going to put it out there, just tell the truth. But yeah, they're subconscious.
Yes, they're
of their hair or lack thereof sometimes. And they want people to be able to help them. They want to go back to the time where they probably had an afro when they was in middle school. Right. They want to be able to go to the barbershop, like, trim me up and have something to trim. So I completely understand. Okay, but and so I was told we have a little bit more time than I thought, but I want to say, what are some protective styles then? While you're trying to figure it out, while you're trying to learn about your hair, is there like protective styles that you can do?
To me, protective styles is the way that you take care of your hair.
Okay.
And even if you add hair to it, the way that you do it, like we all have to be conscious of the tension,
right?
Which means you have to be conscious and selective of who does it and stuff. And so you really want to do your research and ask questions. And how I teach my clients or train them, everything I know, I want them to know.
Right.
Because not only that, I may stop doing hair, but I want you to pass it down to your kids, because we want them to know as well.
Right.
And we want them to pass it down to their kids.
Right.
And we want to prevent the female and male pattern baldness. We want to prevent the traction alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
We want to promote, and for me, one of the things that I love, even when women with so long hair, they hate it, or they be like, I had too much hair. I'm like, there is no such thing.
Yes.
I'm like, and I love it, especially for our culture, because I like to get rid of the myth that our hair does not grow.
Yes.
I want to get rid of that, that stereotype and stuff like that. Like, this is how our hair is supposed to be. My hair didn't grow after this length or all that. Because
that's me. I always say, my hair doesn't grow past my shoulders.
Right.
Once it hits shoulders, it's just break, and it never goes past it. And then I have a cousin who, to her, or this is what she says, she trained her hair, but her hair is like sweeping her butt.
Right.
I'm like, what the what?
I'm like, supposed to be me.
I want my hair to sweep my butt sometimes. I want to.
Right.
That's why I be having this long hair. I want it to sweep my butt sometimes.
Right.
But it's not fair. But but we gonna work on that.
Yes,
we gonna work on that.
Because I always ask for my clients, like, what are your goals? But it's interesting because we want it, and then we don't want to stick with the goals, the daily regimen. Hair is not overnight. It's not a overnight, and we have been cheated because we have taken the easy route, like putting hair. And so for me, I think it's gonna be a day when they're not going to have weaves anymore. I believe that.
Okay.
And so I'm like, what is going to happen? And we are very sensitive about our image in our hair. And so one of the things too, I want to say to our male viewers, listeners, is that don't talk about our hair.
Right. Right.
Don't talk about our hair. Our hair, we do a lot of stuff based on what you say, how you treat us and stuff,
Right.
and we, our images, it's not just insecure. It's like, don't make us feel bad for what we have.
Right.
So I'm very sensitive about that. I don't like it even when it's joked about or anything. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's almost like a complexion. This is what we're born with, and so unless you're calling it beautiful, don't talk about it.
Right. And so, I mean, but that's one of the things I guess people don't realize is that the regimen that you have to do to eat healthy.
Right.
The regimen you have to do to work out.
Right.
To be in shape.
Right.
The regimen that you have to do to study for an exam.
Right.
This is all things that you put forth time, and you have to do that too with your hair.
Yes.
It takes time, especially to get to the point that you want it to get to. Right. So
Yes.
I'm really talking to myself. I hope some of y'all are listening, but I'm talking to myself because that's something that I need to work on, Yes. But this is amazing that you have all this. I'm trying to get to this one question. I can see it from here, but I can't see. Like, I think I can do. It's our friend from Australia, Melissa. She says, so, major time difference is like morning there.
Okay.
And she said she got to go back to work. But she works at the Australian Museum. So, Melissa, I'm waiting for you to like call in and be a guest on the show. So I'm just telling you, Melissa, that you and your friends in Australia need to be on the show. But, I digress. It's not about y'all today.
Right.
It's about Tiffany. We talking about Tiffany. So before we go, is there any last thing you want people to know about you, your products, or just in general about natural hair? What would you like to leave off with this evening?
I really don't want you guys to be discouraged about if you have thinning hair, if you suffer from alopecia, male or female part of baldness. I don't want you to think that you have heard it all. This book really is a book that you need in your library. It really is your go-to. I wish I made it smaller. This is your hair therapy pocketbook.
Okay.
Any questions or anything, I encourage you guys to ask, because I know how it feels when you think you've tried everything and you wasted, and somebody else is just telling you sending you just saying, oh, I could do it.
Right, I can do it. Come in and give me $100.
Right. And it's not about that. Like, it really can be changed if that's something that you really want to commit to.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome. So as we are closing out, you are listening to In the Know with Kat Bobino. Today, we are talking about natural hair. We're talking about the science behind it, what to do, what products are out there for you. And our guest today is Tiffany Anderson, who is an expert in this field. If you have natural hair, and if you don't have natural hair, even if you have permed hair, but you want to learn more about hair or product, or not permed hair, but permed hair or colored hair or whatever, but you want to learn more about taking care of your hair, then you need to Google Tiffany Anderson, put in Tiffany Anderson hair therapy. Make sure you put in hair. There's a lot of Tiffany Andersons out there. I've realized that when I tried to Google her myself. So make sure that you put in Tiffany Anderson hair. Grab her books, especially if you have young kids. We want our kids to be proud of who they are. We want them to have an understanding of taking care of themselves. We want them to be able to express that I'm beautiful no matter what I look like, what color of skin I'm in, the hair I'm in. We want everyone to love their natural hair. So if you missed out on this podcast and you missed out on asking questions, it's okay. It'll be on Facebook Live, and hopefully we answered it for you. If not, Google Tiffany and let her answer the questions for you. She is amazing. I'm so glad I had an opportunity to meet her and have her on the show. Again, we have this show every Wednesday at 6:30. If you or someone you know wants to be a guest, just send me a message and we can go from there. So as we close out, Tiffany, yes, you want to say bye to the audience?
Yes, I want to say bye to the audience. I also forgot to share you in my children's book. My kids are the characters in the book. So shout out to
the babies,
Junior, Riley, and Rocklin.
Okay.
And I have an adult son, Alex, if he's watching, and my grandson Elijah. Yes, I'm a grandmama. Yes.
Did this
Yes, I
Did
am.
she just say
Yes,
that
I
she was
am.
a
Yes, I
grandma?
am. Where they do
Oh, so
that.
we gonna end on that. We gonna end on a note that I was not
And
prepared
to my
for.
family. Yes.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna say shout out to my dog. That's my only child. He's a fur baby. Shout out to my little Travis. He's 5 pounds. No, I'm just being jealous. I'm being petty and jealous. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in on this episode of In the Know. Next time, I hope you guys join us, ask questions, be a part of the show, and thank you. So, good night.